Most sales teams plateau because the people running them never learn the hard lessons that actually drive performance. Now, whether you're closing, managing, or you're building the team yourself, these are the things that separate the average teams from the elite ones. In this video, I'm breaking down the 5 biggest lessons I've learned leading high-performing sales teams across multiple industries, including the exact shifts that help push close rates well past 40%, reduce turnover, and build teams that consistently generate over $1.6 million per month in revenue. So let's get into it. Lesson number 1, the devil is in the details. Random training based on just your reps requests is ineffective and it wastes time. So you want to find the problems within the sales process. Now, top 1% sales managers analyze the data within the data to find the high impact problems. Let's say you have a low lead to booking rate. You want to find what's the actual cause and effect variable that's causing that effect to occur. So you might see a low pickup to booking rate, and by breaking that metric down into more granular sub-metrics, you see you more specifically have a low pickup to conversation over, say, 15-second rate. And then from there, you can effectively pinpoint the deficiency that one or more of your salespeople simply have a weak or a needy opener. Then you can execute targeted training with a tight feedback loop. So if all other time sections of your outbound or your appointment setting conversations are converting to the next section at, say, 50%, your pickup to conversation over 15 seconds is at, say, 15 to 20%, then by simply training your salespeople on that specific deficiency, you can more efficiently increase that metric to upwards of 40%. Now you have a significantly higher volume of potential buyers moving through a conversation that is already converting well to an appointment being made. Lesson number 2, mindset issues are a cope for lack of skill 99% of the time. Now, when a rep tells you they're having mindset issues that are the reason they're not performing, this is almost always a cope for not wanting to suffer the ego hit that they're just not truly proficient enough yet to perform at the level required. So the fix is you need to ask them a very simple question. If you were so good at the skill of executing the sales conversation consistently that you were closing at 70%, would you still have these exact mindset issues? And the answer is almost always no. So you as a manager need to take responsibility for this and dedicate more time to rigorously coaching the salesperson through this critical step-by-step feedback loop that I'll walk you through. Step number 1, you want to review their calls and identify the earliest moment in the call where they are performing below the standard. In step 2, you want to communicate to the salesperson what they are specifically doing wrong. And then in step number 3, you want to send them a gold standard version of this phase of the call being executed properly, like a call recording from you or another salesperson performing it well. And then in step 4, you want to jump on a call with the salesperson and train them rigorously on this, focusing on first reteaching them the overarching objective of this phase or the question in the sales conversation. Then you want to get the salesperson to drill it over and over and over until they can't get it wrong, with quick feedback points after every attempt. Lesson number 3, hire and fire proactively. Now, aversion from hiring is probably the biggest negative attribute that I've seen in 99% of sales managers. Holding onto salespeople too long and not holding them to a specific quota set from ramping to being fully ramped on the account or the team because you tell yourself a story that you've invested a ton of time in them, or it takes too long to teach the product to someone new, or nobody good will come to the team, or even worse, they're your friend, all don't cut it and they don't serve anyone, including the salesperson we're referencing. They cause sales managers and business owners to slowly let the ship sink whilst they play victim in a state of learned helplessness. Now, salespeople are the blood flow of your business, and high commitment salespeople are what keep the business consistently generating revenue month after month and year after year. So you need to be proactively hiring for hungry salespeople, especially when you need to let go of an underperforming salesperson, or when you want to promote an appointment setter to, say, a sales rep position, or when an experienced salesperson inevitably does decide to leave and go somewhere else. You don't want to have to worry about your one producer leaving and it bleeds out, say, 90% of your revenue of your business. So hiring is constant. It's not seasonal. It's an evergreen process like your lead gen activities. So even if you're hitting targets, keep generating spheres of interest and nurturing talent for scaling up with reps and filling gaps when reps do inevitably leave. Now, when it comes to A players, they're rarely out of a job and they're in one of three spots. 1, they're crushing it and they're happy with their current account. 2, 2, they're crushing it, but they're unsatisfied with their current account. Or 3, they're between jobs for literally less than 30 minutes. So the golden rule is don't solely recruit with salespeople that you haven't established a relationship with already and having to do that cold every single time. Instead, you want to build a centralized nurturing system to nurture A and even promising B players. Now, the factors that attract a high quality sales rep include the founder's authority, like social media reputation, which obviously builds pull into the business, and word of mouth through your reputation as a salesman in the industry matters just as much. But most importantly, a properly streamlined offer and sales process that allows salespeople to come in and consistently generate lucrative opportunities through both outbound and inbound lead flow. Lesson number 4, eradicating the princess closer mentality. Now, when I take over a client sales team, I immediately look out for a couple of key indicators for who's reactive and who's proactive by looking for salespeople who, 1, farm their own pipeline instead of solely relying on marketing to fill up their calendar. Salespeople who have the desire to optimize their show up rate themselves. If it's at 70% and everything else in their process is solid, they're going to test trying to push it to 80%, or they'll at least have that curiosity, because I've taken accounts from 55% to over 75% within about a week and a half and stay that way at scale just by running a proper objective clean reset test, which we'll cover in a separate video. Now, if they act like princess sales reps, like DQing prospects for bad mindset to protect their KPIs because they lack the skill to actually let a prospect vent, get on their side, and then reframe the objections collaboratively throughout the call, then that's a problem. If they use victim-based or problem-centric language and don't try to solve issues before coming to me, that's another red flag. Now, the best reps I've coached always try to crack the problem first, or they at least believe that a solution does exist. Now, you can't help people who don't want help. Now, if they need to be told something 5 times, like updating their projections or filling out their admin before a meeting, and then they still show up unprepared, these salespeople will cause you headaches at scale and will rarely, if ever, become A players. Reactive salespeople will tank your team's potential. So even if your offer or your marketing lets reps act like order takers or cashiers, lazy salespeople will leave money and reputation on the table. Whereas proactive salespeople will take accountability for their income and can take a cracked offer or a well-established offer from 1 million a month to say 2.5 million a month. So the fix is to build a culture of relentless prospecting and teach your salespeople to hunt leads early, building a relationship before prospects go and shop around or fall back into uncertainty over who to work with. They need to take accountability for their own professional development and come to you wanting to be trained, not just waiting for the time when they're going to be pulled up for underperformance. Now, for context, I have some personal sales coaching clients who are already making more than $20,000 a month, yet they were still urgent enough to come to me wanting to level up their skill set, and then invested multiple 4 figures in coaching with me so that we could get them to $40,000 and $50,000 a month, where ironically, you see the salespeople that are struggling the most and making the least tend to be the least inclined to actually invest in themselves. So salespeople need to think proactively and in solutions, not focusing on complaining about the problem. So they have to take ownership of their pipeline and their metrics without waiting for orders. That's critical. Lesson number 5, be a force multiplier, not a hero. Sales managers who crave the spotlight will kill the team energy, whereas top 1% sales managers will deflect praise to the sales reps. They'll coach instead of micromanage, and they'll celebrate the wins of the salespeople like they're a fan. Now, I've actually seen founders fall for this just as much, if not more than managers, where they try to be the hero. But people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. So you simply need to be the guide, not the hero. Now, ironically, they will see you as a true hero for this, and then what you'll do is you'll skyrocket retention of your salespeople and their performance from this alone. So this is how I've consistently had salespeople tell me that they've been offered 2.5 to 3.5 times more money selling on a different offer. However, they didn't want to leave since they actually see me as giving them 5 times the value for their long-term future.